Anxiety is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet pressure in your chest when you wake up. Sometimes it is smiling on the outside while your mind is running marathons inside. Sometimes it is faith on your lips, but fear in your thoughts. Anxiety grows where uncertainty lives. You become anxious when you don't know how things will turn out. You feel responsible for everything. You've been strong for too long. You're tired of waiting. You've been disappointed before. And today, God speaks directly to that place. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verses 6-7. Stay with me to the end to know how to let go of anxiety. 1. What anxiety really is. Anxiety is not just fear. It is fear that refuses to rest. It is the mind trying to control a future it cannot see. It is the heart carrying tomorrow's weight with today's strength. It is the soul forgetting, if only for a moment, that God is already in the next chapter. Anxiety shows up in human life in many ways. Overthinking conversations that already ended. Replaying mistakes God has already forgiven. Worrying about money before it finishes coming. Fearing loss before anything is taken. Planning every detail because uncertainty feels unsafe. From a human lifestyle perspective, anxiety is often praised. You're just being responsible. You're thinking ahead. You care too much. But from a Christian perspective, anxiety is something deeper. It is the soul trying to sit on God's throne. Not intentionally. Not rebelliously. But out of exhaustion, fear, and pain. Jesus said, "Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life?" Matthew 6 verse 27. Anxiety promises control, but delivers captivity. It claims protection, but produces paralysis. 2. The dimensions of anxiety in human life. Let us break anxiety down into real-life dimensions, because anxiety does not live in theory, it lives in daily life. A. Mental anxiety, the racing mind. This is where anxiety begins for many people. Thoughts that won't stop. Imagining worst-case scenarios. Mentally rehearsing disasters that haven't happened. Difficulty sleeping because your mind won't switch off. The Bible calls this a troubled mind. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26 verse 3. Notice this truth. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of trust. An anxious mind is a mind trying to predict instead of trust. B. Emotional anxiety, the heavy heart. Emotional anxiety feels like tightness in the chest, sudden waves of fear, feeling overwhelmed for no clear reason, crying easily or feeling numb. David knew this feeling well. He said, "Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me?" Psalm 42 verse 5. This teaches us something powerful. Even godly people feel emotional anxiety. Faith does not cancel feelings, but it guides them. See physical anxiety, the body responding to fear. Anxiety doesn't stay in the mind. It travels into the body. Headaches, fatigue, restlessness, shortness of breath, muscle tension. The Bible recognizes this connection. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Proverbs 14 verse 30. When peace leaves the heart, the body begins to speak. D. Spiritual anxiety, fear disguised as faith. This is one of the most hidden forms. What if God doesn't answer? What if I missed His will? What if I'm not praying enough? What if my faith is too small? This kind of anxiety looks spiritual, but it is still fear. Jesus addressed this clearly. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. John 14 verse 1. Spiritual anxiety is believing in God's existence, but doubting His care. 3. Why Paul said do not be anxious. Paul was not speaking from comfort. He wrote Philippians from prison. Chained. Uncertain. Misunderstood. Yet he said, do not be anxious about anything. This tells us something crucial. Peace is not circumstantial. Peace is positional. It comes from where your life is anchored. Paul understood. Anxiety grows where control is worshipped. Jesus said, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Matthew 6 verse 34. This does not mean ignore responsibility. It means release ownership. 5. Steps to let go of anxiety, deep and practical. Now we go to the heart of Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7. Step 1. Recognize anxiety without shame. Paul didn't say, if you feel anxious, you're weak. He said, do not be anxious, because it is human to feel it, but dangerous to live in it. Jesus himself said, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Matthew 26 verse 38. If Jesus acknowledged emotional pressure, you are not faithless for feeling anxious. The problem is not feeling anxiety. The problem is hosting it. Step 2. Turn worry into prayer, not positive thinking. Paul says, but in every situation, by prayer and petition. Notice, not some situations. Not spiritual situations. Every situation. Prayer is not ignoring reality. Prayer is handing reality to God. Peter reinforces this. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Cast, don't carry. Release, don't rehearse. Step 3. Add thanksgiving. This is the secret weapon. Paul adds, with thanksgiving. Thanksgiving shifts the soul from fear to remembrance. When you thank God, you remind your spirit. He has done it before. He has been faithful. He has never failed. The anxious heart says, what if God doesn't? The thankful heart says, look at all God already did. Step 4. Present, don't suppress. Paul says, present your requests to God. Not hide them. Not minimize them. Not pretend they don't exist. God can handle honesty. David said, pour out your heart before Him. Psalm 62 verse 8. Anxiety grows when emotions are suppressed. Peace grows when burdens are expressed to God. Step 5. Receive God's peace, not your own. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. This peace doesn't make sense. Doesn't depend on circumstances. Doesn't require explanations. Jesus said, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 14 verse 27. Worldly peace needs everything to be okay. God's peace exists while things are not okay. Step 6. Let peace guard you. Will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Guard equals military language. God's peace stands watch over your thoughts. When anxiety tries to enter, peace blocks the door. 6. What letting go of anxiety looks like daily. Letting go does not mean you never think. You never plan. You never feel concern. It means you refuse to live in fear. You redirect your thoughts to God. You choose trust repeatedly. Paul says, take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5. Anxiety is a thought pattern. Faith is a thought discipline. Finally, Anxiety asks, what if everything falls apart? Faith answers, even if it does, God will still hold me. God never promised a worry-free life. He promised a peace-filled heart. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Isaiah 43 verse 2. Not if. When. And He will be there. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not abandoned. You are learning to let go, and God is ready to catch you. Let go of anxiety. Hold on to God. Peace is already on the way.